Hey guys, Sen here. This is the craziest attack you will ever see in Clash of Clans. Yes, not just the clan capital, but all of Clash of Clans. As requested from my comments previously, I have timestamped the full unedited replay with no pauses at the very end, but watching this through in its entirety will increase your clan capital IQ tenfold. Everyone who has seen this attack has had their mind blown, as this is the 400 Larry Maxed Builders Workshop one-shot. If we look at our troop bar, there's 8 barrels and 3 graveyard spells, which adds up to 375 Larrys. You might be thinking, but Sen, you promised 400 Larrys in the thumbnail. You clickbaited me. Well, just wait and let me explain. Not only are we going to one-shot this Max Builders Workshop with 375 Larrys, we're going to do so while swagging that 30 troop space cannon cart, and I could have actually brought 2 more barrels instead to make 447 Larrys, but I decided to make this easier for you guys to see the full army in all of its glory. 25 HP skeletons are going to single-handedly wipe out this maxed base. Now, this attack has a story behind it that I have to share. The default Max Builders Workshop was once considered impossible by the competitive clan capital community until last week I was able to pull it off with Sparky. The main problem with my Sparky run was that it just does not translate to any other level besides completely maxed defenses, which means it's almost completely useless for the raid weekend. So Luca from Splasher, the number 5 ranked clan, him and I are the 2 best players in the world for coming up with one-shot strategies versus default layouts, and both of us set out on our own to find a better method that could work at all levels, including max, and we both failed. I actually gave up on the idea, and that was until I went over to the Splasher for my last video to record one of their golem attacks. While I was there, Luca asked me to look over his Super Dragon run, and when I did, I was absolutely shocked. I realized that his run sucked. But more importantly, it had all of the pieces to make my own run work that I had given up on. And from there, we have been going back and forth for the past few days on hundreds of different ideas, analyzing compartment after compartment. And just to make this happen, you see Luca and I have very contrasting styles. Luca comes up with the most wild, creative ideas, and his attacks look like complete chaos everywhere on the map until they work out somehow miraculously at the very end. While I have a very methodical style, every troop gets placed on the exact right spot with perfect timing, which is why some of my runs are some of the hardest one-shots to execute in the clan capital. This 400 Larry one-shot would not have been possible without both of us pushing the limits of what is possible in this game. So let's begin our analysis of the most chaotically methodical attack ever. Now, starting off, we have Luca's Super Dragon flying towards the left side. It'll burn down this Spear Thrower, burn down this air defense, and just before it steps inside range of all of these air defenses on the right side, we drop down a barrel just like so on the other side of the river to go after and tank all these defenses, and it will have just enough HP to cross over the river and reach this air bombs to drop down some Larrys and step just outside of range of this Wizard Tower splash. And then the next deployment afterwards is going to be crazy. Once the air defense is getting its shot off and shooting towards the last remaining low health barrel, you will drop down a barrel on this exact tile where I highlight, like so, and those 3 barrels are going to split out in 3 different directions towards the multi-cannon, towards the Wizard Tower, and towards the air bombs, and that will ensure that your dragon gets the most amount of tanking, and also that the Mega Hin Tesla will never get a shot off on it with that timing. And because I timed my barrels both so perfectly, my dragon could have actually taken 1 more shot from this air defense and still had enough HP for the next section of this base. As the dragon flies right, it dodges out on 2 zap traps, the Larrys tank the Spear Thrower, and the dragon approaches the Spear Thrower. We drop down a ram to open up just before the Spear Thrower goes down, and once the map opens up, we will drop down another ram, this time on this tile, and pull out the zap trap so those barbs inside the ram will take out both of these clan houses. At this point, the dragon must have enough HP to go forward and splash down this Wizard Tower and this Spear Thrower, and this is where Luca had a brilliant idea we're going to drop down a graveyard on the bottom corner of this air defense and then a graveyard on the top corner of this blast bow before the dragon goes down, because we are going to try to get as many air Larrys as possible and swarm those two sections of the base. Now, you might be wondering why we delayed the graveyards till now, and that is because we need to kill off a huge mass of air troops all at once for the top graveyard to be able to overwhelm the spear throwers and the Tesla that is still hidden here. Luca calculated that you needed almost every graveyard skeleton up here as an air Larry to make it work immediately, and so now we want to drop them down as the dragon goes down and then kills a bunch of other air troops. And just as the dragon goes down and some Larrys spawn down here, I first drop down a pack of minions to help speed up the Larrys down south. You don't need that to try to take this section out, but you do need it to help speed up your attack and help push you through the back end of the base. And now here is where I have my own brilliancy. We need to kill off a bunch of air troops, and let's do that with some barrels. So once the bars clear out these huts over here, the deployment zone expands like this, and we can drop down one barrel on that tile a little bit farther away, and that will tank all three of these air defenses like so. And then that first barrel is going to pop open, and those Larrys inside will go over and clear out this trash building. And then two more barrels once those defenses are distracted to go in and try to make it past the wall. And just as the air defense gets one shot off on your first barrel, you have to drop down your giant like so. However, I actually make a mistake. I am like a split second too late, and the giant cannon locks onto that first pack of Larrys, but I'm a little bit fortunate here, and that when it kills some of those Larrys, it will retarget onto the giant, and we still have a couple of Larrys to kill this little clan house, and we are back on track. Now, once the giant cannon shoots its second shell, you're going to wait a split second or about 1 second and then drop down a jump spell just like I do right here, and that's going to redirect your giant towards this Mega Hidden Tesla away from your Larrys. And so what that is going to do is the giant cannon is going to turn just enough to miss your Larrys and allow your swarm to safely approach the giant cannon and take it out just before it's able to turn around and take out your entire swarm, and the entire back section over here is going to get taken out by this Larry army as well as that jump. And now we're going to focus on the 6 o'clock Larrys and a couple of minions that still survive. Once they start approaching the cannon and start taking it out, you're going to drop a pack of archers on top of this rapid rocket to try to finish off the rest of the section. Now, I actually dropped my archers about 1 second too early, and that means the cannon actually kills one of the archers, but don't worry, it's still going to work out. Once you have about 1 minute and 30 left on the clock, you're going to drop down 2 barrels like this in front of the giant cannon, and then you're going to drop down a ram on that tile just as the air defense gets one shot. The ram is going to go forward, open up the wall, as well as distract this giant cannon for your Larry swarm to approach. And now you actually are going to need the Larry barrels when they pop open to pull one of the log traps on the left side of this building over here. Otherwise, they will kill too many Larrys and your run will end. Notice how I dropped the barbarian on top of the trap around on this tile to go forward, clear these trash buildings, funnel the Larrys into the base, and make sure these Larrys down south are not going to get hit by the bomb that was there. And while that's all going on, the north side Larrys have finished off the Mega Hidden Tesla. There's a couple cannons left, and they're going to take that all out. And after all of this is said and done, there's only one last blast bow standing in the way. There's Larrys from the north, east, and west all converging on this last section of the base, and unfortunately, because my archers, there's only 4 of them left, they are so late in trying to take out these last few buildings. But when they finally do, we're going to drop down a ram immediately on the bottom corner to surge forward, tank the blast bow, tank a zap trap, open up, and pull a bunch of traps. And so we can go in with one last Larry barrel from the south section and complete the full encirclement of Larry army and try to take out that blast bow. Unfortunately, one of the barrels actually goes down. That's very unlucky for me, and we don't have that much DPS on top of that blast bow. The archers start tanking the blast bow, the Larrys start tanking the blast bow. I get lucky that an archer, single archer, tanks the blast bow, but now there's a huge pack of Larrys that the blast bow is going to lock onto. The hero archer is not going to be enough. Each one of these Larrys has 25 HP, and one shot is just about to end it all, but sometimes it's better to be lucky than it is to be good. The Blastbo misses the Larry Swarm. The rest of the Larrys take it out. There's 400 Larrys, and we have vanquished 95% of this base. There is 30 seconds on the clock and a raid cart cheering from the sidelines, still waiting to be deployed. But no, step aside, Mr. Raid Cart. There's still 100 Larrys left, and they're here to claim the rest of this base. Ladies and gentlemen, this was the 400 Larry one-shot versus Max Builders Workshop with 30 troop swag. And there you have it. This run took a ton of work from Luca and I. Like I said, this would not have been possible without him, so huge shout out to Luca. Following this run, our Discord will be most likely working to create the most consistent runs possible for Builders Workshop at all levels that you'll be able to use and pull off in your own raid weekend. So be sure to join the Discord with the link below so you can get the latest information on all the other one-shots that are also available and all your other clan capital needs. But like and subscribe if you enjoyed today's video. I will leave you guys with the full live replay now, and take care.